Like, Kamu is truly the only threat to beat the Icons this season, but all Dee does is spill so much info to him. And so if we're really going to get real about why Dee is doing this, it's because Dee does not identify as a Survivor winner. She actually still identifies as a side chick, as a homewrecker. She is competing for Kamu's attention because his attention right now is focused on Taylor. I'm feeling ranty today, folks, so today's video is probably not for the sensitive Sallies that get in the comments whining, especially those that are all conservative about, you're in the comments saying woke this, soft that, and then you're whining anonymously in comments like a bitch, a snowflake bitch. So let's really break down what is happening on these feeds that is just complete suckage again. I do feel like, at least we had a good weekend because the feeds are going back to the suckage that this season is overall with this cast overall. Things are just starting to go back to where they were pre-Lala HOH, minus Chuck and Haley, who are now on the outs. We still had a little bit of Melody and Mallory trying to have a social game for once, trying to tell Angela and Lala they're 100% on their side over Haley, and what Haley did in that situation is wrong. Fine. I mean, at least there was some progress on a social level with those two. But Taylor has been clocking the closeness between Barrett and Dee. And I'm glad somebody is finally clocking that. Whatever will put any sort of target on that boring tall bitch Barrett, I am all for. I just think it's a little too late for Taylor to realize that, unfortunately. Dee and Devins had a lot of quick check-ins yesterday. Dee is on the Lala and Taylor gotta go soon. And that Angela's blow-up was bad, but it was also great and they loved it. I still don't understand how they don't see Angela as toxic for their game, but whatever. They're also looking for a new common enemy. Dee, of course, would love that enemy to be Taylor, but I think she's going to have to put in more work than she's going to want to do to completely turn the house on Taylor right now, because Taylor actually does have a good social game. Kamu and Dee checked in with each other. Dee and Devins are going around in this. I feel a little bad for Haley. Of course, Kamu feels bad too on a human level. Dee says exactly, I still don't trust her, but on a human level. Let's talk about Dee and Devins suddenly feeling sorry for hateful Haley, but felt nothing for Jason when that was the whole plan to isolate Jason. That's what Kamu did. And frankly, Devins joined in many a times in those first few weeks when Haley was on her, let's make Lala feel bad, let's make her suffer even though she's cleaning the house, let's mess with her. Devins was 100% a part of that, but now these two Survivor clowns want to feel sorry for hateful Haley. I'm so sick of them. Because then we have to listen to Dee and Devins giggling about the diamond power of veto and how if someone tries to backdoor them, then Devins could just use his veto and put up one of their friends. Like if Lala's going to do it this week, they would just put up Taylor, which again is a good reason that Taylor did not have Lala go after Devins this week and changed her mind from going after Devins, because Taylor would have wound up on the block. So yes, Dee and Devins talking about this power and how if anyone puts them up, they're just going to put up the HOH's best friend. And again, I just sit here wondering why we're even having a season. We did not have to have a season. They could have just given Dee or Devins the money without wasting everyone's time, the people playing the game alongside them, us as viewers. Genuinely, everyone's time is being wasted watching a season where production hasn't even tried to hide the fact that they want the vets to get to the end. It's asinine, completely. Angela had a moment of spiraling yesterday with Devins, getting paranoid that Lala is coming after her, which comes out of nowhere. This is, of course, Angela Griffin that we're talking about, because Lala is the one that saved her from Haley in that argument when Angela was actually in the wrong during that argument, going off like the Karen that she is. Humpty Dumpty makes zero fucking sense. Angela might be the worst thing to ever happen to strategy on Big Brother, because then later, Angela is telling Dee they should keep Haley because Haley will be a target still. And while there is some merit for that helping Dee and Devins as a target in front of them, it helps Angela how? Because Angela's not talking to Haley. She would just be the person that Haley would target. Haley would want to target Angela. Angela is just always loud and wrong and round. Chuck and Haley, they're the best example of what dumb, empty-headed morons the vets are playing against. When Haley asked Chuck who he would put up if he stayed in one HOH, one of the people that he named was Lyric, the girl that went home 4 days ago. Chuck keeps hyping up Haley that if she does go home, people are going to love her. Haley wants to go home at this point if she doesn't win the blockbuster. She's complaining about this isolation thing being brutal. No, you think? Here is Haley complaining about the isolation that she helped set the standard for this season. Because this isolation thing with people on the block was not a thing these past 2 seasons. But Haley was excited about being emotionally isolating people like Jason when she was on the side of power. So this is really the karma that she deserves. Angela also made spaghetti, which is Haley's fave, while she's a have-not. So the two Karens are still going at each other, but Angela is much more experienced in the trade, clearly. The big question as to what Chuck and Haley are doing on the block is, why have they not just exposed the Toolshed Alliance? Why not tell Lala, Taylor, Mallory about everything and say that they would go after the other members if they saved them? Well, I do know why Chuck and Haley are not doing that, because they are fucking morons, but that is the move. Haley has not wrapped her mind around the fact that alliance is over, and right now she doesn't even have allies. But if these two had a brain where they could get their head in the game, that is the obvious move to make. Mallory, Taylor were having a bit of a Haley bashing session yesterday. I think that is one way for Taylor and Mallory to at least, try and bond. But then when Drew joined the conversation and they started talking about the 4 people that haven't been put on the block, Taylor clocked that the 3 icons have not been on the block yet, which, Mallory agreed with. And then Drew's just talking about, it's just respect. It's just respect that the vets have not been on the block. I just wish Drew would shut his rat mouth. But of course, yeah, Drew did rat this out to Dee later. Drew has fallen back into that being his main game, be a vet puppet. This is why the feeds are going back to being suckage, because of Drew and Barrett. It's the one thing that has killed gameplay this season, is that Drew and Barrett don't have a game for themselves. They are quite literally playing for the vets to win, even though one of them has won money before. Mallory and Mallory were at least talking about getting out Kamu soon, but they'd have to actually try a plan for once instead of just talking about one, so we'll see if that really works out. Can I just address this stupid ass fandom for a second? I mean, I don't know why I'm asking, because I'm always going to talk shit, but it's stupid enough that this fandom is voting Mallory as the next power instead of Taylor, who actually wants to go to war with the vets, who already have this almost impenetrable head start. But the fandom is also trying to say that Chuck going this week is what's best. Saying that because Haley is allegedly better for feeds. But no, these brainless morons who are just like Chuck and Haley need to realize that of all the people on the block, the person that would make feeds so much better is Barrett. The Barrett tree needs to be chopped down, not just chopped down, then put in a wood chipper, never to be heard from again. He is the biggest waste of space casting has ever had us watch. But also Chuck going instead of Haley will only help the vets. Dear Devins can mold Haley's one brain cell, whereas I do think Yash and Taylor at least have a chance to try and mold Chuck as a number. So the fandom as a whole knows how awful this season has been, and it's because the gameplay has been suffocated by production giving the vets a huge head start in 3 different ways, but low-key the fandom is still rooting for things that will help the vets, because overall the Big Brother fandom has the IQ that Haley and Chuck has, and that's not a good thing. As for me, anytime there's a feed switch and I have to see Barrett all up on Dee, I puke in my mouth a little bit. I'm so tired of seeing Barrett all up on Dee. If Barrett's head could literally be up her ass, he would try and do that. Taylor did run by Lala how if Haley wins Blockbuster, they should try and vote out Barrett, but they don't have the numbers to do that. And that's because Taylor and Lala's original plan was actually what was best for their game. Like I said, over the weekend, when Lala first became HOH, having Drew and Barrett on the block at the same time was the only way to get one of them out right now and at least do some sort of damage to the vets by getting out a vet puppet. But Kamu not only had to save himself, but also keep the vets having an advantage. The only way they could get Barrett out now is if they convince Kamu to use the veto and put Drew up as well. But I don't foresee Kamu wanting to use the veto. He wants to distance himself from Chuck and Haley. Dee told Kamu that she would only do a short-term alliance with Taylor, and it's because she would have to put Taylor up soon. This did come after Devins told Dee to stop mentioning Taylor to Kamu because they are close. Let's be real about Dee and make Survivor fans cry in the comments. Without the huge head start for the vets, I think Dee would be right along with Angela playing way too messy, because Dee has already proven this past week to be sloppy. But also, Dee can see that Taylor is such a threat, but she can't see that Kamu is. And why is this? Because Kamu is frankly the only newbie that has not been on the block yet, meaning he is on par with the icons, but without the huge advantages that the vets have had since Jump. Like, Kamu is truly the only threat to beat the icons this season, but all Dee does is spill so much info to him. And so if we're really going to get real about why Dee is doing this, it's because Dee does not identify as a Survivor winner. She actually still identifies as a side chick, as a homewrecker. She is competing for Kamu's attention because his attention right now is focused on Taylor. So I guess you could win money but still identify as a hoe bag homewrecker, other woman. I mean, her homewrecking did happen after she won Survivor, so I guess to quote Luann from The Real Housewives of New York, money can't buy you class, and we are definitely seeing that with Dee. And before I go, one last rant, since I'm clearly feeling ranty today with this fucking cast, and then I guess I'll let up for now. Anyone over the age of 22 that is shipping Drew and Melody together is weird, because Drew acts like a teenager still. And so if someone is young and shipping them, fine. But if you are older than Drew and you are shipping them, you either need help or you are just a Drew stan and you hate Melody or something. Because this guy has done nothing but drag Melody's game down this whole season. And then for 4 weeks, he drug her name through the mud. The one thing she said she would be upset about is if he was talking shit about her, and he was. And I know he did this because he is young and immature, but still, how could you actually like Melody but ship these two together? I just know it's the same annoying folks shipping Drewlity that were AmeriCorey's fans, because those two losers only had America go on the challenge and cheat on Corey, and yet people still hype the fact that America and Corey are still together. Well, yeah, because Corey's a cuck. So now that same weird fan base is standing these two when Drew has sat and talked shit about Melody with other house guests. At some point, he's talked shit about her with her biggest ops, like Haley, and yet you still ship her with him. It's weird. Just say you hate women and go.